Mississippi Secretary of State warns Biden is registering illegal aliens to vote with executive order. Now, Biden used executive orders before. This is the reason why our borders are open the way they're open right now is because of his executive orders. So I wouldn't put anything past this guy. You know, Biden is getting desperate. He's looking at the polls, seeing that his chances of winning is not looking very well. So I could see him pulling off something like this. That's why he's leaving these borders wide open and not really doing anything, absolutely nothing about it. And he's trying to say, oh, well, Congress is not giving me a bill to sign. That's not that. We have laws on the books right now that you are totally ignoring that could protect our borders. And you're not allowing Border Patrol to do their jobs. So we're gonna talk a little bit about that. But before we get started, go ahead and hit that like button, share this out so we can get this information out there. Subscribe if you're not already a subscriber. And hit that alarm bell so you know when I'm putting out new stuff. Also check out my link tree in the description. It has a link to my Patreon. That's where I talk about things I can't talk about here. There's also a link to my Instagram and my merch store. Also check out jjthepsychotherapist.com for news as well. All right, let's talk about this news. This comes from Slay News, Frank Bergman, and he reports that Mississippi's Republican Secretary of State, Michael Watson, is raising the alarm after discovering that Democrat President Joe Biden executive order is registering ineligible convicts and illegal aliens to vote. Watson has sent a letter to Biden's Department of Justice asking it to stop enforcing the executive order. In a letter to Attorney General Merrick Garland, Watson wrote, quote, as you are aware, on March 7th, 2021, President Biden issued Executive Order number 14019, which sought to turn the Department of Justice agencies from their historical mission of law enforcement to voter registration and get out the vote operations. That is wild. That is not what the Department of Justice is for. These efforts are an intrusion into state matters and are a misuse of federal revenue and resources. In addition, it appears that these efforts have led to agencies under your charge attempting to register people to vote, including potentially ineligible felons, and to co-opt state and local officials into accomplishing this goal. The executive order in question was signed by Biden in 2021. The order was billed as an attempt to combat racial discrimination and, quote, protect the right to vote. Biden used the order to instruct government agencies to consider ways to expand citizens' opportunities to register to vote and to obtain information about and participate in the electoral process. Now, that's news to me. I'm going to be honest. I remember Biden signing something, but I thought it was related to felons. I did not have any clue it was for illegal a way for illegal aliens to vote. I had no idea about this. In his letter, Watson outlines concerns that the executive order, quote, forces the U.S. Marshal Service to, quote, modify agreements with jails that require them to provide voter registration materials and facilitate voting by mail. According to the Marshal Service, they are modifying 936 contracts or intergovernmental agreements to require state and local government complicity in the potential registration of ineligible prisoners to vote, the letter states. It furthers required the Department of Justice to facilitate voter registration and mail voting for individuals in the custody of the Bureau of Prisons. This program creates numerous opportunities for ineligible prisoners to be registered to vote in Mississippi. Watson warns that the Biden administration is ignoring the voting status of the individuals involved. Quote, forgive me for not necessarily trusting the Biden administration, but in Mississippi, we've got rules and regulations dealing with who can vote when it comes to felons, and there are disenfranchising crimes in our state, and I don't specifically think that the Biden administration cares crossing the T's and dotting the I's when it comes to making sure these folks can or can't vote. They're going to register them, including illegal aliens, in custody. So we've got major issues, and that's what led to writing this letter to Attorney General Garland, Watson said in a statement. Watson letter explains that the program, quote, provides prisoners with misleading information concerning their right to both register and vote in Mississippi, a right which they may not have. For example, many of the people in the custody of the marshals are convicted felons from Mississippi. Law deems ineligible to vote, the letter says. Additionally, many of those in custody only have fleeting ties to Mississippi and do not meet the residency requirements necessary to be a Mississippi voter. Watson wrote that Mississippi jails are being prompted to, quote, work with other reliable sources of voter information to assist federal prisoners with voter registration, voting by mail, and notification of upcoming elections. Wow, I had no idea that the Biden administration was putting so much effort into getting prisoners able to vote. He is trying to get votes any way he can. But he goes on to say, quote, we are unaware of any contact with our office, which begs the question, which organizations are the marshals using to accomplish this demand, the letter asks. So they're not working with the state. Many outside groups performing voter registration and voter harvesting services are partisan entities with a history of being unreliable. That's true. We've seen it. There have been documented instances of these groups providing incorrect directions to voters, which is also true. It is not proper for the federal government to push partisan groups into the voting process in Mississippi or any other state. But we see that. That's exactly what's going on. But the letter specifically addresses concerns that illegal immigrants in the Mississippi prison system could potentially be registered to vote through the executive order if the program is not closely monitored. And you know, of course, this is not being monitored, and nor do they want to monitor it. They want these illegal people to be able to vote because they know historically they vote Democrat. But, quote, our understanding is that everyone in the marshal's custody is given a form advising them to their rights to register and vote, the letter continues. Providing ineligible non-citizens with information on how to register to vote undoubtedly encouraged them to illegally register to vote, exposing them to legal jeopardy beyond their immigration status. Watson letter says that it is quite shocking that the Biden administration would expend tax dollars and vital law enforcement resources on a program that, quote, risks bloating state voter rolls with ineligible and non-citizen voters. Again, that is by design. This is what they want. As the top state official notes, the move comes during a time when millions of illegal aliens have crossed the southern border under Biden's policies. Watson warns that this is an urgent matter with the critical presidential election just 8 months away. If you look at what's going on at the border when you've got so many illegal aliens pouring into our country, imagine the efforts used to get them to register to vote. And that's what this is all about, Watson said in a statement. That's exactly what it is. It's about control. It's about continuing their power. And unfortunately, that puts our country in a terrible position. So it's immediate, and it's something where we hope they will respect our request to stop the program. I don't think they're going to stop the program. This program is going to continue. I don't see it. Again, this is what they want. They want illegal aliens to be able to vote, and this is their way of doing that. And they want people in prison to be able to vote because, like I said, historically they vote Democrat. So that's more votes they can get right there. But let me see. Sorry, my screen froze a little bit here. Where did I leave off at? The information we want to see is which prisons they're working in Mississippi. We've asked them to prove to us the documentation. What exactly are you doing in our prisons? We want to make sure we understand which prisoners you've been talking to so we can understand whether or not they're eligible to vote. And I think it's incumbent upon all of the states to take that notice up and push back as hard as we can, because with this election coming up in November, it's incredibly important to the future of our country. What we have left, what we have left of it. Honest Elections Project Executive Director Jason Sneed issued a statement saying he applauds Watson's letter of warning, and I do too, because I didn't know anything about this. And Sneed said the program, quote, puts election integrity and voter confidence at risk for political gain. The Biden administration is aggressively pursuing a partisan get out the vote scheme using taxpayer dollars, Sneed said. And it's slick. It's slick. So it don't have to come from the Biden campaign. It's coming from the federal government. The federal government is literally backing the Biden administration. The federal government is backing the Biden campaign, I should say. But quote, nothing is off the table from using law enforcement resources to potentially register ineligible voters and even non-citizens, to the recent announcement that the administration will use taxpayer dollars to pay students to coordinate with left-wing organizations and mobilize youth voters. And these are all federal dollars that are being spent. This is not Biden's campaign dollars being spent doing this, which is another thing that needs to be looked at. But let me know what you think about that, about all this. Leave your comments down below. Like, share, and subscribe, and check out jjthepsychotherapist.com for the latest in news. Till next time, peace.